My name is Pilar Acevedo, and I was born in Mexico City. My family came here to the United States years ago. In fact, we came directly to Kankakee, Illinois, of all places, and eventually moved out to Los Angeles and was there for 10 years and returned back here where I've been able to actually do more art than I had ever done before. You know, each piece started off in different ways. Like, for example, Naughty, which is the piece with the big head. Naughty started off as just me saying a couple words in Spanish when I was talking about somebody. And the two words in Spanish were metiche and chismosa. So that ch, the sound of those two words, inspired me to start writing a bunch of words in Spanish with those same sounds. I put these words together and created a narrative of this girl who had this terrible experience because she was nosy, metiche, and chismosa, a tattletale or a gossip.
En cabeza redondezca, llena del hormigueo de cachivaches y cuchicheo.
I knew that I wanted her to be this doll. I just happened to have that little tiny dresser. I just decided to put those two elements together. Each drawer became different levels of perception. One was regurgitated, one was remembered, and one was repressed. I tried to tie all those things into that story that was created by that poem that started with two words, metiche and chismosa. What I called Heavenbound, that was actually totally different. I like to go into antique stores and I see pieces that I find inspiring. I saw that little cage, and to me, when I first saw that cage, I always envisioned it as a female form, but I never knew what I wanted to do with it. And then one day I was reading a poem by Paul Dunbar called Sympathy, and that poem inspired me to create Heavenbound. I knew she was going to take on a human form, but I didn't want it to be quite literal, so I put the branches on there as arms, and then I collect doll pieces, okay? Like, so I have heads, arms, legs, eyes, and I also collect viewers and a number of different things. So I had that head. It was a doll head that someone had given me because they couldn't use it. The back could not be glued back together again. I decided to use it as it was and have birds flying out of its head because the poem was about this life that this girl lived, and it was so oppressive that all she thought about was being released and going heaven-bound. That one was inspired by just this thing that I kept thinking in my head, which was little girl face. And I kept repeating these words and ended up writing a poem. I had heard the story about something that a young woman was going through. She was in jail because she had beaten an elderly woman up while she was really whacked out on crack cocaine. And she was so totally lost in her addiction that she had become another person. And the biggest question was, why had she become this person? And the more I delved into it, the more I found out that she had been sexually abused by her father for years. It dawned on me that to her, I mean, she used the drugs to escape and just kind of try to reach for some intangible sweetness that she never had as a child, because she in essence, she never had a childhood. All of these pieces are narratives. It is telling a story. Every single piece that I've ever created is about a story. The only thing that I would hope that people do is respond to it from the heart. It's not decorative art. I don't want it to be decorative art. Every piece that I've created, some of it much more gut-wrenching than others, And it's about the human experience, whether negative or positive, but as you can see, mostly negative. I don't necessarily like to tell people this is what it means to me or this is what I was thinking about when I did it, because everybody's going to bring their own experience to it, which is what I would like them to do.